This book description looks like Leatherface sliced it up and threw its parts all over the place. Hi storytellers, welcome to Sell Your Story. My name is Jason. I'm a story seller. That means I write magnetic book descriptions that attract readers to your self-published fiction. In this video, I'm reviewing a book description currently being used at Amazon for The Final Girl Support Group, a thriller novel by Grady Hendrix published in 2021. So this is not a book review, it's a book description review. But if you've read The Final Girl Support Group, comment below and tell us if you think this book description fits the book. And give us spoiler alerts just in case. What I'm looking for in this book description is good marketing copywriting that does three important things. Grabs attention and never lets go, stirs emotions and curiosity, makes the right shopper want to buy the book today. That's how you sell your story in your book description. But does this book description do those things? And why do I think this book description looks like it was butchered by a maniac? Let's talk about it. The first thing that I want to do is take a look at the layout. Your layout is your book's first impression. If it looks like you put effort into the description, then it looks like you put effort into the writing of the book. This book description at a glance is engaging. It doesn't look like it's such a slog to get through. Keep in mind, no matter how good your description is, you're going to have people who are going to skim it and scan it. And skimmers and scanners are going to have an easier time looking through something that is broken up with more spacing. The font variation is good. We have bold, we have italics, and then we have normal text, so that's good too. I would say that the first impression that it makes is a pretty good one. Looks like there was some effort put in here. It has good integrity and suggests good integrity for the book as well. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and read it, but I'm going to skip the praise and prestige, the social proof at the top. I'm just going to get started with the hook and read from there. In horror movies, the final girls are the ones left standing when the credits roll. They made it through the worst night of their lives. But what happens after? Like his best-selling novel, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, Grady Hendrix's latest is a fast-paced, frightening, and wickedly humorous thriller. From chainsaws to summer camp slayers, The Final Girl Support Group pays tribute to and slightly subverts our most popular horror films. Movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. Lynette Tarkington is a real-life final girl who survived a massacre. For more than a decade, she's been meeting with 5 other final girls and their therapist in a support group for those who survived the unthinkable, working to put their lives back together. Then, one woman misses a meeting, and their worst fears are realized. Someone knows about the group and is determined to rip their lives apart again, piece by piece. But the thing about final girls is that no matter how bad the odds, how dark the night, how sharp the knife, they will never, ever give up. That felt good to read. Now let's go ahead and break it down and figure out why. So the top of any piece of marketing copywriting is called the lead. It leads you into the rest of it. This lead begins with some praise and prestige for the book, which is proof. And proof can be great and really helpful when done right, but skeptical people often skip it, and so do people who just want to know what is the story. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the proof. USA Today's review has good genre keywords, especially for the right buyer. It says horror master, which is good for Grady, and the tropes of horror movies are important to this story. The term final girl suggests a trope of the girl who makes it through the horror movie, fights the monster off, and makes it to the end credits. The right buyer will go, oh, I understand what that means. I feel smart. I think I'm going to be a good fit for this book, which is a great thing. I would use USA Today's blurb about the book and move on to the story hook. The rest of it is too much. And it doesn't grab attention. It doesn't stir emotions or curiosity. It doesn't do any of that because I skipped it. And I'll tell you why in a minute when I talk about the hook. Does it get the right buyer interested? No. The right buyer might be interested in this book, but it wouldn't be because of this prestige. Although, use USA Today's blurb for the keywords, and it's just one sentence, it's nice and short, and then you can move on. Let's move on down to the hook. The hook is supposed to quickly tease and hype the plot's stakes and conflict. So when I went to look for the hook, I in order to do that, was counting on the bolding of the text at the top to signify where the proof was, which, again, I always skip. I want to know what the story is. In skipping all of the bolding, I skipped the hook. It looked to me like the hook was missing. Oh my God. Who removed the hook? But what happened was they bolded the hook along with the rest of the proof. So it only looked like the hook was gone. It was there. It's just that it was kind of melded in with these other parts of the social proof. And that's a problem. This is why I suggested doing only one blurb from USA Today so that we could get to the hook. Do not bold what USA Today said. It's the first sentence, and it's in quotes. Something in people's brains, when they see quotation marks around a sentence, they have to know, what did somebody say? It might be juicy, it might be really good. Bold your hook. But because they bolded everything, I skipped it to the first piece of text that looked like that's probably where the story summary begins. So the hook was missing. All right, so then I went backwards and I found it. You heard me read it earlier. It's good, but it's a little bit long. It teases the plot in a pretty good way. It also has to bear the burden of explaining what a final girl is. Again, the right buyer for this is someone who already knows. Your hook is not the place to start introducing information, especially real-world concepts that you'll have to understand in order to appreciate the book. When you start introducing concepts in the hook, it just slows everything down. Get rid of the sentence, in horror movies, the final girls are the ones left standing when the credits roll. But I would make the hook simply be a movie tagline style, they made it through the worst night of their lives, ... But what happens after? It doesn't have to get into the story. It doesn't have to get into any of that. It gets into a fundamental fear of people. And that's what hooks are supposed to do. You don't give away information. You hook them with, wow, something's happening here that makes me want to read on more to find out about people who've gone through a traumatic experience and tried to live afterwards, because we all do at some point. And then I would move on to the next section. What else? Does it grab attention? No, because I skipped it. Does it stir emotions and curiosity? Curiosity, yes, if you change it. It ends with a question. It ends with the open loop. What do you do after your life has been destroyed, but you're still here to deal with picking up the pieces? Does it get the right buyer interested? I think that it could, but again, you'd have to change the formatting with the bolding and everything, and then you could really draw people in. They made it through the worst night of their lives, but what happens after? Great question. For a horror book, fantastic. So I would say yes, it's just that you have to change this thing up a little bit in order to really make it stand out. All right, so moving down from the hook, let's get into the features and the benefits section of this book description. This is the story summary. The story summary, oh my God, it's missing again. Another piece is gone. What is that? What is that part? Oh my God, it's the value add paragraph that's supposed to go at the bottom. This thing is such a mess. What somebody did, Leatherface, they took the value add paragraph, which is where you talk about the deeper themes of your book and the track record of the author, the secondary, the supplemental sales stuff. You put that underneath the story summary. The story summary has the real features of your product, of your story. But what we are doing here is we are devaluing the story by not just telling everybody what it is. That's what's going to bring people. I'm going to be honest, I didn't read any of Grady Hendrix stuff before. I didn't even know that his work existed, I'm going to be honest. But I was looking through horror books and the title grabbed me because I know what a final girl is. I love horror. And I was looking forward to reading the story summary, which is why I skipped everything that I believed was not the story summary. But when I skipped all of that, I still ran into a value add paragraph before I got into the story summary. This is not the way it's supposed to work. Let me tell you why. When shoppers are looking through tons of products for what it is that they need, there are certain things that they're looking for to be in certain places. So Again, I'm talking about how this book description has been cut up into pieces and thrown all over the place. This is a problem. Put things where they belong. So I'm going to go ahead and read the story summary. I'm going to go ahead and break that down, I should say. We have who the story is about, Lynette. We have what she is, real life final girl. So we have the identity here. I loved survived a massacre. That's really good wordsmithing. For more than a decade, so we have some backstory. She's been doing this, which is fantastic. We know who the hero is. We have some supporting characters. We have setting. We have an inciting incident. One woman misses a meeting. So there's the world as we know it. Then there's the twist, the plot complication in the book description. That's very well written. This is a very well written story summary. Does it keep attention? I would say yes. It stirs emotions and curiosity, that it gives you FOMO to find out a couple of things, including who's the killer and how does the story end. So does it confirm that this is the right genre and right story for the right buyer? Absolutely. It knows what's called in marketing, the nature of the prospect. It relies so much on the right buyer's understanding of genre, tropes, and that kind of thing. It's giving your readers what it is you know that they want. And so the story summary in this description covers that information, which is great. All right, we're moving down to the sales section. Now, again, it's in the wrong place. What types of value adds does this paragraph have? Consistency. It shows that Grady has a great track record, a lot of previous success. So that's a very good thing. It also does something which I wish more books would do in their value add paragraph, which is it links this story to other well-known stories that are like it. We have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. If Final Girl Support Group is like those movies, then good, you linked it. It's good that you're saying so. The fact that it's paying tribute to those movies means you should acknowledge those films in your value add. That's a perfectly good use of italics to draw attention to those features so that a reader or a skimmer and a scanner can come across those and go, oh wow, well, you wouldn't say it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre unless it really was. You wouldn't say it was like a Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream unless it really was. So it's great that those are included. The genre and story keywords are fantastic here. Fast-paced, frightening, wickedly humorous thriller. Those in a string are pearls. I really love those. Does this keep attention? So here's the thing about a value add paragraph. Because people know that those are usually toward the bottom, sometimes people are just going to skip them. They only care about the story. This is design stuff. This sounds like really, in the weeds here, but it's important. So since we have some italics here in the value add, it's a good thing because I think people are going to stop and they're going to read it. When you see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream all linked together, you might go, whoa, what happened? And go back to the top of the paragraph and read on down. Does it stir emotion and curiosity? Could be. I'd say FOMO. I think that it sets the hook a little bit deeper in the horror expert, in the right buyer, for them to go, okay, well, let's see if you're up to your stuff, because you can't say those movies to me without me judging you pretty harshly and deciding if you succeeded to pay tribute to those movies. And so does this show the right buyer that this is a safe purchase? I think it does a very, very good job of that. Okay, let's move down to the call to action. Oh my God, it's gone. It's missing. Where is it? It's been chopped up and thrown somewhere. Is it buried in the woods? The call to action is important. And I don't see very many book descriptions that have them. And you should have them because it makes people go, oh, you mean buy right now? Because it says buy now. Read it now, buy it now, something like that. You could do something like read it today and see if Lynette will be the Final Girl Support Group's final girl. Hey, so you got in the call to action and you got cute with it, which is great, right? Why not? Try it. If you don't like it, you can remove it. But read it today, buy it today at least. But then something more clever than that if you want. So here we are, answering the big question. Does this book description sell the story? Absolutely yes. Of course, the problem is it's all out of place. There's no reason to do that. But what you need to do is put things in the order in which everyone expects them to be there. Readers do, and skimmers and scanners. They're looking for particular things and they know where to find them. You need proof. If you don't have any, then fine. You need your hook. You need your story summary. You need your value add paragraph, and you need your call to action. All right, that's it for this video. Comment below, let me know if you think this video helped you understand book descriptions a little bit better. Tap the thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos where I help you learn how to sell your story. If you want my hands-on help writing book descriptions that attract readers like magnets, then click the link for my website in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.